The biggest game of this season and recent seasons is 48 hours away. We said from the start of the season, we want to win the Carabao Cup. And at this moment, it's one of the rare examples of our actions aligning alongside our words as we've booked a final place at Wembley. Finally, destiny is hopefully in our hands. The only issue is though, we are up against our biggest bogey team of recent memory in Liverpool FC. Since beating them in the FA Cup final with goals courtesy of Ramirez and Didier Drogba, we've lost in consecutive final appearances to Liverpool, with the first one being in a 5-4 pen shootout loss in the Europa Super Cup. That was then followed by 2 consecutive Wembley final back-to-back defeats in the Carabao Cup final and the FA Cup final on yet again penalty shootouts. We've lost the past 5 finals at Wembley. We were once a club synonymous with Wembley wins. Hell, the last time we've even beaten Liverpool was in a 1-0 away win at Anfield under Thomas Tuchel. So on Sunday, a win over Liverpool holds even greater, significant symbolic meaning. Could a Carabao Cup final win finally exercise the losing mentality that has plagued this club now for too many seasons, and can we finally get pushed on to bigger and better things? I think it's no surprise that there are so many sporting parallels to our 3-2 Carling Cup final win against them in Cardiff all those years back. That was the first cup final win for a newly built Chelsea team. That first win for that squad created the future winning mentality that set us forward from that point on. Now we fast forward 19 years, and right now this opportunity at Wembley on Sunday is the first moment to show that this project has legs. This is the first moment for this young team to foster and create that winning Chelsea mentality that's been sorely missing since our takeover. Most importantly, this is Pochettino's first chance at winning silverware in England. This could be a significant turning point for his managerial abilities as well. So right now we go into this game with confidence. We go into this final feeling rejuvenated. We've come a long way since losing 4-1 to Liverpool. Since then, all the credit goes to Pochettino. Ever since that Villa FA Cup game, something finally clicked in this team, and I think Pochettino deserves a lot of credit for turning the fortunes around. He's protected this team. Most importantly, he's challenged this team. And since then, that old feeling of Chelsea pride has since returned back into this team. It's been undeniable, and we saw that in all its glory in last weekend's 1-1 draw against Man City. It's been so undeniable, in fact, that finally the fan base is feeling the confidence and belief from this squad, from this team, and from this club. And you just know on Sunday, this team will give absolutely everything in their power to come back as Carabao Cup final winners and finally break this cup final curse. So today, my friends, I'm here to go through team news. I'll break down the press conference, and finally I'll go through the predicted lineup. So I hope you guys enjoy today's video. Only hit that like button if you feel like we are set to lift the trophy this weekend, my friends. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, but before we continue on, today's preview is brought to you by Parimatch UK. This weekend, the Blues are heading off to Wembley to face Liverpool in this year's EFL Cup final, and our friends over at Parimatch UK are celebrating by offering new customers a very special offer. That's right guys, Chelsea's official betting partners and Parimatch UK are offering new customers £30 in free bets when you place your first £5 bet on this massive cup final. To claim this offer, simply create a Parimatch account and opt into this promotion. Then make your first deposit via debit cards or Apple Pay. Then place a pre-match £5 bet on this year's EFL Cup final of odds of evens or above. Obviously, full terms and conditions always apply. You'll find these links below in the description. So I want to say a big thank you to Parimatch UK for sponsoring today's video. Come on you Blues, and getting back into the video. So now let's move on to team news. And in terms of team news for us, nothing's really changed. The only small differences being that both Thiago Silva and Marco Correa are returning back to the training reconditioning phase. So outside of that, it's the same old story for most of these players. But in terms of Liverpool, we're learning that Salah, Szoboszlai and Nunes are being monitored for late fitness tests. They could potentially make an appearance in the final this weekend. I don't think it surprises any of us, but players that won't be playing will be Trent Alexander-Arnold, Alisson, Curtis Jones and Jota. they are all out injured. So right now, Liverpool have big players missing, big players not fully fit. You can't feel the hope anymore, right? But regardless, I kind of think this all means F4. You can't afford any complacency, and I feel like we must treat every single Liverpool player like they are prime Lionel Messi. So my friends, that is the team news out the way. Let's now break down Pochettino's massive press conference for this upcoming cup final. And for the first question, could we see Thiago Silva return back to the first team lineup this weekend? Now, Poch did say that he may have an opportunity to do so. He will find out tomorrow. From my own experience of covering these press conferences, I've clocked that Pochettino tends to lie a lot. And I think he does that to make his opponents second guess his actions. And I think it has been working for us. So I feel like this is the same thing he's doing. You know, he's a very superstitious character. He won't tempt fate in any way possible. So it would not surprise me if we don't see Silva starting against Liverpool this Sunday. Now for the follow-up question. Pochettino was asked about this cup final game being his first opportunity at picking up silverware in England. As Poch said, it will be a dream for him and his coaching staff to win. We have 90 minutes to achieve this and we will fight hard. The team is ready. We are going to compete. It's a big chance for us. And to be honest, this is what I want to hear. I don't need over promises. I don't need to hear big words. I just care about focused, simplified dialogue that tells you exactly the mentality we have set for the game this Sunday. Now, naturally, after those heavy defeats, those back-to-back defeats against Liverpool and Wolves, how are things turned around? Why is things different now? Why is there new hope and belief right now? And as Poch said, obviously he'll approach a game this weekend differently to a Prem game. And I agree with that, and let's keep things real. I think if there's one positive we can take from that 4-1 humbling against Liverpool, it's literally physically and tactically impossible for Pochettino to even dare think about repeating those same mistakes against Liverpool. Whatever ideas he used in that game clearly did not work, and we now know definitively that we won't turn towards these same ideas again in the cup final. So that's the only small positive we can take from that. But when I was hearing this press conference, I think the big thing I was taking away from this was that competition, being ready to compete against Liverpool from the first minute to the last minute is going to be key to helping us lift this trophy this weekend. Now, Poch was questioned about whether we've seen a mentality shift in the team since those heavy back-to-back defeats, right? But Poch actually said no. And you know what? It can be quite easy for us fans to just assume that players, they turn off and they turn on their mentality. They decide when they want to turn up and when they don't want to. I don't think it works like that. And Poch actually revealed that it had nothing to do with a mentality shift. If anything, the team have clearer ideas now behind how they want to play and how they want to compete. And I think we're seeing this tactically in terms of the organisation in our pressing. I think the pressing and defensive work on and off the ball these past few games have been some of the season's best throughout. Yes, we aren't necessarily keeping clean sheets, but it's been a massive improvement in terms of our structure we've seen throughout most parts of this season. And I feel like maybe it's looking a lot more effective now because players feel more confident in how they're being used. Naturally, we're seeing many players playing in their best positions. And is it any surprise that since we're seeing so many playing in them, we're seeing a big upshift in terms of the team's communication and most importantly, understanding of each other's game. And I feel like massive credit again goes to Pochettino for, as I said, protecting this team, supporting dialogue, hearing issues with his team and finding the best solutions to fix things. And it's no surprise why we're seeing so much positivity in this club again these past few weeks. For the final two big questions, naturally, have we been practicing for penalties in this cup final? And Poch said, yes, we have been doing this regularly for weeks. And that makes me feel confident because we aren't taking this a chance again, because he will know himself, we have lost so many cup finals to penalties. Now, after that incredible, world-class pen shootout win against Newcastle, it's nice to know that we have the talent and the players that have confidence in these really tense moments in the game. And maybe they have more confidence now because this is something we're regularly practicing and training, which clearly is making a big difference. So if it goes into extra time again, we are going to be ready this time, Liverpool. And finally, for the final question, Poch was asked, how crucial is this win to the project at this football club? And Poch simply said, listen, don't be asking me that. Go and ask the owners that question right now. I'm only focused on winning. Finals aren't to be played in. Finals are there to be won. That's the most Chelsea thing he's said since he's taken over as our new manager. And as I said, I want things simple, I want things effective, and I want things focused with this cup finals. My friends, that's the press conference out the way. We now end things with the predicted lineup for the Carabao Cup final. Now this is going to be the biggest lineup that Pochettino picks. At this point in time, you'd like to think the lineup is pretty much self-explanatory. With how the dynamics are different in these one-off final wins, could Poch be preparing something behind the scenes that we haven't seen yet? Could we revert back to using a back five system? You know what? Some of you guys might agree with using a back five setup, and I get that, but that's not the lineup I'm going for. This is the lineup I'm going for. As you guys have seen, Nkunku up front. I'm going for Palmer on the right hand side and Nicholas Jackson on the left hand side. In midfield, of course, Enzo, Connor, Caicedo, and defense of Ben, Coral, Disasi, Gusto, and Petrovic in goal. Now starting from back to front, naturally Petrovic must start. I'm not looking to disrupt any harmony we're seeing in defense right now. The communication from everyone is absolutely on point, and I just feel like even though Sanchez, we're forgetting, has had a pretty good season for us, unfortunately he's out injured, and I'm not risking this momentum at the back for no one. Defense picks itself. I think Disasi, what a colossus performance he had against Man City. You know, he's showing leadership. He's showing that he is ready to take those responsibilities on. Maybe that gets killed a bit when he's playing alongside Thiago Silva. And actually, when you have a Cole Disasi partnership of Disasi being the covering defender, Cole having the license to push forward, of course, to, kill attacks in front of him, that is the most complementary defensive partnership you want to see. And it helps that right now we have both Gusto and Ben Chilwell in absolute great form. Ben is looking a lot more confident now. He's not being exposed for 2v1s. And Malo Gusto put in one of the best performances this season at right back against Man City. Gusto himself said in the press conference, listen, everyone praised my performance against City, but if I have a bad game in the final, I go back to square one. All I'm thinking about is being focused for the final. And I think if he shows that same level of focus, which he did against Man City, my friends, I feel confident and I feel comfortable. Him, Cole Palmer, that partnership they have has been so threatening, so dynamic. They play so fast and they understand each other's game. That's why Gusto will make those adventurous runs forward, because he knows Cole Palmer will always find him. So I'm not disrupting that right hand side. I need that Palmer, Gallagher, Gusto triangle going on. Keep that against Liverpool in the cup final. I think if we move on to midfield, it kind of picks itself right now. I think since like the early months of the season, we've only seen this midfield three of Enzo, Connor, and Caicedo, and I think right now it complements everyone. It's looking a bit better now because I think Gallagher and Enzo's box-to-box roles have clearer definitions and ideas right now. There's no surprise that since our upshift in form, most of our goals are now coming from midfield. And I think with each role that all these guys fulfill in midfield, Caicedo, kick-starting attacks. Could he be a bit better defensively? For sure, but hopefully he improves upon that part of his game as seasons go on. That's why you need to have Conor Gallagher there to help kick-start the press, to add muscle to our midfield, to add tempo to our midfield, and to add the support of play to make those runs to receive and move the ball that other teammates aren't able to do. And I think the midfield goes to a different level when you have an Enzo Fernandez that now has that box threat, that now has the license to receive in the first phase with Caicedo, to then kickstart our attacks in the second phase, and then get on the end of attacks in the third phase. That is important for us right now, and so far it's looking like a very strong midfield three. And up front, this is where things get a bit interesting. I'm sure some of you guys are shaking your head. No, Nini, you need to have Nico Jackson up front, Sterling on the left hand side. We need Nico pressing from the front. I kind of see it like this. Now, with how Gallagher at times will press up front alongside the striker, it's been the reason why people call him a 10, even though he hasn't really played as a 10, in my opinion. I kind of feel like if we take those same principles, you could apply that to Nkunku and Nico, with Nico leading the press, with Nkunku moving to the left side, and of course Palmer to the right hand side. I could see that working, but of course it could create some risk because Nicholas Jackson defends a bit better off the ball compared to Nkunku. So the reason why I'm picking Nkunku is simply down to this. I feel like in a final like this, you must think about your game management. That must be perfect. I think Nkunku coming on as the super sub doesn't have the same type of effectiveness compared to him starting a game. And I think with how well we tend to start these games recently, we miss that finishing piece, which is having that player there that can convert these opportunities and give us something to protect. If we have something to protect against Liverpool, that could make us a stronger outlet from the first minute to the last minute. And I'd rather have Sterling come on as a super sub to run against those tired Liverpool legs in defence to stretch them even more in a role which he's been very effective in when he has been used as a sub. I think that Nkunku must start to add some finishing quality to these counter-attacks that we're set to create against Liverpool. I'd rather see your Sterlings and your Nonnies and even your Mudryks potentially come on as the super subs to still give that threat against Liverpool, to give us legs on the counter-attack. Because against Man City, even though I understood why Poch decided, listen, we are going out all out defensive right now, against Liverpool, we don't have to play this way. And we can't limit ourselves in the final 50 minutes of games where in these moments we tend to concede because we've taken off all our attacking threat to flood our team with midfield players, giving us no outlet to play out from the back or to transition again. So, my friends, that is the lineup I'm going for. Share your thoughts and opinions, and most importantly, give your predictions. Do you think we're going to win this final? How can you not think that? Of course, we must go on with full belief for this Sunday's game. I'm so pumped, I'm so excited, and obviously on Sunday, I'm going to have the watch along stream and the post-match call and show for sure, because we're going to discuss everything that goes down. So my friends, good luck until then. We cross our fingers, we pray to the footballing gods, and we get ready for Sunday. I'm the EFC, this is Blue Lions TV. Come on you Blues, and I'll see you guys on Sunday. Cool.